Hello, welcome to Blue Discussions, and the topic for this week is Tony Romo. Is he gonna make it to the Hall of Fame in 2022? It will be interesting. Before we go to our Blue Discussions, please click and subscribe. Welcome to Blue Discussions, and today the question is if Tony Romo is gonna make it to the Hall of Fame, and we're gonna ask the panel a yes or no first. But before I do that, let me remind you of a couple of facts for the Hall of Fame. Okay, those of you who like to go into the idea that Tony Romo did not win a Super Bowl. Okay, let me remind you that Chris Carter from the Minnesota Vikings was inducted to the Hall of Fame in 2013, and he never made it to a Super Bowl. Also, Dan Marino from Miami Dolphins was inducted in 2000, and he never made it to a Super Bowl. And we all know that Warren Moon, originally from the Houston Oilers.
Hey.
He was inducted to the Hall of Fame. Shout out to the Houston Oilers. He was inducted to the Hall of Fame in 2006. So I'm going to ask the panel to give me a yes or no. And then I'm going to ask the panel one at a time to tell me the reasons why you think, or the reasons you think Tony Romo is not going to make it to the Hall of Fame. Before that, let me introduce everybody. I got Josh from San Marcos, Texas. Josh. And then I have Eric, once again, Eric Puga from San Antonio, Texas. And
Sir.
Say that again?
I said yes, sir.
Very well. And joining us from Austin, Texas, we have Alfonso Sainz. So now that we have the panel introduced, let me start with it. What do you think about Tony Romo going to the Hall of Fame?
Like I said last time, I think he'll get it. He'll probably get on the second or third try just because of celebrity status. Just back up the whole nation. He played on the nation's team, so to speak. So he'll get that vote, especially like a lot of the votes are coming from like people he knows, friends, stuff like that, like he's played with.
Okay, and I'll get back to you. So I hear from Eric Puga that it is a yes for Tony Romo. So now I'm gonna go with Josh. Josh, what do you think?
A hard yes.
I say a big no.
Oh, what?
Hey, no.
Because I think to be in the Hall of Fame, you have to be great. And Tony Romo, I think, is good, but not great. I feel like he's in the middle between that. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong. He has solid stats. I mean, but he's known, you know, a lot of people know him as an average quarterback that chokes.
The average Joe.
Watch yourself. Okay, and I'll get back to you Josh, in a minute. Alfonso Sainz, what do you think? Yes or no?
Yeah, I think he's in the Hall of Fame, and I would go as far as to say he's a first ballot Hall of Famer as
What?
well.
Okay.
What?
A little introduction on your opinion there.
First off, I mean, I would say the highest thing is the stats. He put up a lot of stat numbers that rival some of the greatest quarterbacks that have ever played. So if you want to look at the touchdown and interception ratio, the touchdowns per year, the stats are up there to put him in the Hall of Fame. The only thing he's missing is that ring, unfortunately. But like you said, Dan Marino, Warren Moon, all these people are in the same caliber. They didn't win a ring, but they have the stats. He's up there with the best.
Okay, and I'm going to tell you, and I'm not going to get into the argument just yet or the debate, but I'm going to tell you yes, because of his records, because of his popularity, and I'm going to go out there with Eric, kind of joining what he said towards the end, that he's popular and continues to be popular. I'm going to distract it to Josh. Josh,
I'd say no.
tell me more about this no.
Oh, I mean, just, the numbers don't tell the full Tony Romo story. I mean, he did have the most fourth quarter comebacks in 2006, 2015, but that's on his resume. But despite all that, I mean, his inability to get the job done when they needed it the most. I mean, like no MVP, no Super Bowl, no Offensive Player of the Year. I mean, just that, and like those guys you were naming, like Dan Marino, he's in the Hall of Fame, but he's won an AFC championship. He hasn't won a Super Bowl, but he's been to the Super Bowl, and I mean that's just
they've been consistent.
That's just some of the.
I respect your statistics and your opinions, because you decided not to jump in the Super Bowl wagon. You also see
Yeah.
a couple of other things. I like that. I respect that.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more there, Alfonso. Tell me why Josh is completely wrong.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're right about the accomplishments. So that's what I would say is like the biggest determinant of it. And as a Romo fan, I can tell you firsthand watching those games, I didn't feel completely confident sometimes when I'm at the end of the game. I was like, oh, Jesus, like I couldn't fully trust him to pull us out of a tough spot. But
Kind of like what y'all have now.
yeah, I would still take Romo over that. But what was I going to say? So yeah, one of the things that I think the Hall of Fame committee will commend and take into account is the consistency, because he started play in 2006 and technically he didn't stop until 2016. That's 10 years of consistency, every year performing at the top level. This is the NFL.
Consistent failure.
It's a results-based. It's a results-driven league. So it's 10 years of a quarterback that put up the numbers, was there playing, and he did go to 2 NFC Championship games. He didn't win them, but that's still an accomplishment. He made it to I don't know how many Pro Bowls as well. Pro Bowl quarterback. He went to. That's another knock. He only had 2 playoff runs, but still.
Go ahead, Eric. Tell us.
Nah, he's consistent, but he hasn't. I mean, you're saying he's consistent, but he's consistently let us down. He hasn't made it far. Like you say, he only had 2 playoffs where he reached the playoff twice, but didn't even do anything during those 2 opportunities.
Right.
So,
yeah, but I'm also talking about the entire breadth of the career. I mean, you're talking about two years of the playoff runs, but he also, what about the 6 to 7 years that we had the opportunity to go and we just had a tough game, or he did that one play where he fumbled up the line, things like that. He did give us winning seasons. That's the thing. We had double-digit winning seasons for the majority of his career, and I think his win total is way over 500. He has the stats. He's a Pro Bowl level quarterback. I mean, you have to talk about the entire breadth of the career. You can't talk about just some down years. Also, if you're talking about the average too, you take the best years that he had and the worst years that he has, and you take those out and just look at the middle. What's the average? What is his overall grade? I would give him an A-.
Yeah,
those sound like typical ESPN stats. they adjusted it to make it fit the story.
I agree with
you got to say.
And I agree with Eric when you said if he does win, it's going to be because celebrity status. He's well known.
A bit. I agree with that.
He was like put under a microscope. I mean, everybody was watching him when he was doing good, when he was doing worse. I mean, he does hold a lot of franchise records. I'll give him that. I mean,
those are cute.
His passing ratings above Robert Staubach and Aikman. Yeah, and if it wasn't for the injuries, I feel like he'll still be playing right now.
And also you can tell his knowledge of the game is another thing that's going to be taken into it as well, because you can see it from now with his commentary. That's the other thing. I mean, you always knew that you had a smart.
Maybe he'll get the Hall of Fame for commentating or something.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, just to mention a few things that he did for golf, or that I agree with Alfonso here. He went to the Pro Bowl quite a few times. He had consistent winning seasons. He has a lot of knowledge of the game, and he holds better records than 2 of the winning quarterbacks. Including Troy Aikman, the Dallas Cowboys.
You're gonna put him in the same conversation as Troy Aikman?
I'm not putting in. Is the numbers are putting him on the same conversation? I'm sure
he's not.
Troy Aikman has rings.
Yeah, he's not in the same conversation, but he's in the
talking
discussion.
About numbers and statistics. But I'm gonna give you a chance, Eric. Tell me, how come you allowed Warren Moon to be in the Hall of Fame, and you're not allowing Tony Romo to be in the Hall of Fame? If none of them have Super Bowl rings, they have excellent statistics, and they have Pro Bowls and winning seasons. Tell me why you're knocking down Tony Romo.
No, I'm not. I mean, he's gonna, like I said, he's gonna get it eventually because of his celebrity status. But comparing him to Dan Marino and Warren Moon, those guys were consistent, and they had winning percentages, and they proved themselves all the seasons, and with multiple teams. It just, I don't know. They did a lot. They did a lot more, especially stats, Pro Bowls. They got a lot of accomplishments. They might not have the Super Bowl rings, but they have a lot of other trophies in there.
All right, and Josh, I'm gonna give you a chance to go after Tony Romo. Tell me, how come you allowing Dan Marino to go to the Hall of Fame, and you're now allowing Tony Romo? Dan Marino never made it to the Super Bowl, and I believe Tony Romo had better statistics than Dan Marino when he came to the actual quarterback numbers.
Yeah, like I was saying before, yeah, Dan Marino hasn't won a Super Bowl, but he's been into the Super Bowl. He's won an AFC championship. He has 17 seasons, over 400 touchdowns.
Yeah, they got some trophies, like I said, personal trophies, and they've got AFC champions.
Yeah, and like if you look at Tony Romo's trophy
or not
case,
AFC, but their own division champs.
Yeah, like Tony Romo's trophy case is empty to me.
Alfonso, jump in, defend Tony Romo, because you're citing that he's gonna be in the Hall of Fame, and the fact that they think that Dan Marino and Warren Moon deserve to be in the Hall of Fame and not Tony Romo. Tell me, Alfonso.
Yeah, I agree with them that they're not in the same. He's not in the same class as them. They're obviously, you don't think twice about them going in there. But my argument would be, what are the requirements? Well, what are the prereqs that you need? It's a wide variety of of criteria that you need to meet to get into the Hall of Fame. Obviously, he's not one of the top cream of the crop quarterbacks, but he is in that discussion. He's in the bottom of it, but he's in that barrel of top quarterbacks.
That's what I said too. He'll get there. I think his celebrity status is going to push him over the hump.
And you're right. So I would say possibly his celebrity status, and also his commentating success will help him elevate to being a first ballot, I believe, actually. When you take a step back and think about what he did for the game, and just the Cowboys brand as a whole, I think they, gained in value over his tenure in the Cowboys because we always had a winning season. You take all that into consideration, you take a step back and go, okay, just look at football as a whole. What did the career of Tony Romo, what did it stamp, on the game? And taking the totality of his career, I think they're gonna let him in.
Yeah, yeah, he would get him there. He would always get the team there. Like I was saying earlier about him choking, being average and choking, like that Seattle game where the bobble snap.
Yeah.
Him going and getting tackled short of the end zone.
Right.
Okay, well, I'll give you 30 seconds to tell me to rephrase your yes or no and summarize your reasons. Eric?
Once again, he's good. He's a respectable quarterback, but if he gets there, he'll be second and third round just out of celebrity status. People behind him will back him up.
All right, thank you, Ryan. Alfonso Sainz, your yes or no, and summarize your reasons.
Yeah, I think he's going to be definitely a Hall of Famer. Once you actually take a look at the stats as well, I think they'll prove that he was up there with the best in his years. He was up there with competing with all of them in the 2000s, early 2010s.
Okay, and Josh, you got 30 seconds.
Yeah, big no. He's good at quarterback. He's not great, and like I said, if it wasn't for the injuries, I feel like he would still be playing right now, and he would have a better chance of getting the Hall of Fame.
Well, thank you very much for your discussions and for letting me know the yes or no. I, in turn, says yes because of his numbers, because of his Pro Bowl appearances, because of his winning seasons, because of his record statistics, and because of his popularity, okay? So it seems to me like every time I speak to someone or to a crowd or to a group of friends, it seems to me like it's a little bit leaning towards a yes. It's usually the 50-50, but a yes will appear there. But I don't know if that will be enough for the Hall of Fame committee to allow Tony Romo of the Dallas Cowboys to be in the Hall of Fame in 2022. Again, thank you, Josh from San Marcos, Texas, for joining us today. Faithful Eric Pulga from San Antonio, thank you for joining us today. And Alfonso Sainz from Austin, Texas, thank you for joining us today. This is Blue Discussions, and we'll see you next week.
Blue Horse.